Hey there, welcome to Pages of Ascension. Welcome back if you've been hanging out with me for a little bit. So this is actually going to be an unboxing video for a tarot deck called the Herbcrafter's Tarot. This deck is by Joanna Powell and Latisha Guthrie. Okay, and I gotta say that as far as decks are concerned that have a elemental in nature and refer to plants and herbs, this is probably one of the most amazing decks I think I've ever run across. Like, I am feeling this deck. Okay, as you can see, it comes in a very, very sturdy box. If I actually wasn't using it so much, because I use this particular deck in my dailies on Instagram, so if you're not following me over there, check me out. But yeah, it's a sturdy box. So if you don't use all your decks all the time, or you like to store them in a specific way, this box would be great to do so in. So let's see here. Yeah, so it focuses on partnership with the botanical realm, is what it says on here, and also just the relationship between the earth and plant life and our plant medicine in humans. It's always, well, how it was designed to be more of a copacetic equal partnership. Of course, we all know just the way that the world is going right now, and especially with the fire in the Amazon and the little attention that that's getting. Sorry, I had to add that in there. That really just like made my heart hurt. That is the lungs of our freaking planet, okay? Which is like almost more important for a deck like this, because especially as practitioners, those of us that do tarot and play with the cards and stuff, it's very easy to just accumulate decks and not really think about what goes into them, not really think about how Mother Nature plays such a role, or how Gaia plays such a role in our ability to tap into collective energy and to do this. Most people who are very serious about being tarot readers, or have been doing it for a long time, will tell you there's certain things you need to do in your tarot reader. One of them is grounding yourself, and that often takes place in nature. And the other is cleansing. And you know what? The earth provides both of those. So that said, I'm going to go ahead and let's look at the deck. Or let's look at the book first. So here's the book. It's very nice, very well done. It's got a good binding. You can, set it down and it will, for the most part, stay open. They do give you some spreads that you can play with. I think they are very intricate. There is quite a bit that goes into talking about connecting with the herbs, connecting with, what they do for the body, what they do for the planet. It gives you the option to use reversals in this particular deck. I don't. So far, I've been playing with them here for about a couple of weeks. And for someone who's not super familiar with herbs, they might need a lot more priming time than I did. I'm actually a gardener and herb crafter myself. So a lot of these I kind of already knew. But let's see here, what else. The way that they formulated this particular deck, every herb that you run across in this deck is actually safe for consumption. I believe I read that somewhere. Meant to be a daughter deck to Joanna's first deck, which is the Gainan Tarot, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I have actually not crossed that deck, so I can't help you there. I know I read it somewhere in here that the way they decided to formulate the way each plant was represented, they made sure that it was medicinal or edible, or in some way helps to benefit the human body. I'm sorry, I can't find it in here, but I know that I read it, and everything that, like, I've looked through every single one of these, and these are all these are all things that you can use in some kind of way and will not hurt you. Okay. So let's see here. It's going to bug me because I can't find it. I wanted to read that for you guys. But in any case, I talk about, you know, how the herbs can work in divination, how they work in medicine, or some of them in medicine or herb crafting, things that you can use them for. Okay, now that I'm repeating myself on that. So it goes through, like each section. So the way that it's divided up in this deck, like they have the majors here, and then when it gets to the minors, they do each card, each suit of the minors. So for example, we're just going to take aces because it's the first one here. So it's not ace and then 2 and 3 and 4 of air. It's going to be ace of air, ace of fire, ace of water, and then ace of earth. Okay, just so you know that that's how you look it up in this deck or in this book. Okay, so additionally, under each, they give kind of like a little description of keywords up at the top. Oh my gosh, just realized that my lighting is really, really bad. They give a little description, just like some keywords of what the plant, you know, will represent or can represent for you. Then it goes into a little bit longer of a description and then gives you some ways to actually like incorporate the use of this plant spirit in your life. I think that's absolutely freaking brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, I am a big fan of this deck. And it covers the numerology as well of, you know, what a certain number means. So what threes mean, for example, since that's the page I'm on. So where it gets a little tricky, or can get a little tricky for some and diverge from what's typical of most tarot decks, is how they label their court cards in here. So Hayas stands for daughters, which would stand for pages. So the pages and decks in the tarot deck. And then it goes on to Adelita, which stands for, I believe it's knights. Hold on, let me find it again. Yeah, so it's knights in traditional tarot. Okay, so all those are going to be together. The Adelita of earth, Adelita of water, Adelita of fire, so on, so forth. Okay, and then it goes into madres, which is mothers, and that represents queens in traditional tarot. And then for our kings, it's I'm gonna mispronounce this name. Curanderas. There we go. Curanderas. Or it translates to healers. Okay. And those actually represent our kings of in this particular deck. And the way that they did it, because they divided it up as like the healing herbs, or the herbs that heal, like that can provide restoration, whereas the madres they can help feminine energy. Like these particular plants tend to help feminine energy. I mean, they can help anybody, but they're specific to helping like women. But it's also because they nurture. So there's that. And then the Adelita, which is the warriors, these are the ones that the fighters, like the spicy ones. So like cayenne, for example, is in here. Oregano is in here. Yucca, you know. Okay. And then, so for the, and I will actually get to the cards, promise. The Hayas, they're kind of fun. They're definitely defined as like fun herbs. You'll see if you grab the deck. But yeah, I would highly recommend this deck just based on like there is a lot of detail, a lot of effort put into this deck. And I don't know, for me, I can tell when I pick up a deck and it's just a production piece of crap. And those are the ones that they come out of the box maybe once or twice and I don't ever use them again. I'm never called to use them again. Yeah, I've got a couple of decks like that, but not many. I've learned to go with where I'm pulled and not with where someone says I should go. So that said, do your own research. We're going to get to the cards, take a look at those, and we'll go for there. So I may or may not talk during this. It varies. These cards are not in order because, like I said, I've been using them now for a couple of weeks. I use them in my dailies over on Instagram. But I will give you good detail nonetheless. So we're going to pull this a little bit closer just to make sure that my bad lighting doesn't screw with anything. Okay. And yes, I love the fact that they use cannabis as the justice card because it means they're not discriminating against any plants. There, I said it. Okay, let me go back to that one. First of all, this is beautiful. This is a beautiful, beautiful way to portray this. I love the influence of the Day of the Dead celebration. I think that's amazing. Like there's so many cards in this particular deck that it's just like my mouth kept dropping as I was going through them. It was just beautifully done. One thing I actually like about this deck so far, too, is that the cards that are considered or that people often will consider quote unquote bad in tarot, when you look at the plant itself, it puts a whole new twist on that card, at least for me, on the energy of that particular card. And when you've been, playing with the tarot as long as I have, like, it's always nice when to run into a deck that helps to shift your perspective a little bit. I always, love it when that happens. No matter what mood that I'm in, I'm always grateful for a shift perspective, and we should be, for not growing, you know. Oh, that's so perfect. Burdock is the hangman. I love burdock root. Good for the blood, good for the skin, really good for the skin. Can actually make a face wash out of it. Oh, cayenne. I just love all plants. Super nerd right here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Sorry, I'm just like so getting caught up. Like, I've looked through this deck multiple times, but yeah. Oh, and the mallow. The little hummingbird. Yeah, this has got a lot of aspects, from what I can tell anyway, of Mexican culture ingrained in the artwork. I don't actually know anything about the artist, or the person that she collaborated with to write the book, but just absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Oh, plantain. It's like the creeper. This plant is everywhere. If you look on the ground, the next time you go to like the grocery store, or you're walking, in a park area, they really like disturbed ground, but you can find them everywhere, and they're just really good for bites and stings, and you can consume them and put them in salads and stuff, and yeah. Make tinctures out of them. And St. John's wort, which is good for depression. Which is why it's the sun card. Ah, I just love it. I love it. I love it. Ah, this is one of the ones I'm talking about. Like, this is the Four of Water, and it's mint in this particular card. And there is a blue jay here, and then mint as a plant. Okay, so here's the thing about mint. It's a wonderful, wonderful plant. It, grows really well next to like tomatoes and peppers and stuff. Like, they totally get off on being around each other. But the problem with mint is that if it gets in the right environment, it's almost too prolific. So you'll literally be pulling it out of the ground for like 3 generations trying to get rid of it. But it's great as a refresher. So the fact that it's got this blue jay up here, which for me is a bird of like the trickster element, is just freaking hilarious. I mean, hilarious, ha ha ha, not hilarious. Oh my god, I'm really sorry about your overgrown mint problem, okay? So yes, do not plant mint directly in the ground. I don't care what part of the country you're in. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's very, very difficult to get rid of. Just stick it in a pot. It'll be quite happy there and still produce for you, okay? Oh, and then witch hazel, really good for skin. Pachamama. So this is one that I'm not super familiar with. It hasn't come up yet in the dailies, so. Okay, I'll stop talking now. Nasturtium. One of my master gardener friends actually calls them the nasties. Nasturtiums are edible. And they're really pretty, but they attract like god awful amounts of aphids to your garden. So if you don't have a quite balanced ecosystem, you're going to be picking off aphids of everything. So they're just kind of nasty to deal with because of that. Sorry. Okay. Oh. Oats. Multiple uses for oats. I'm actually growing this one for the first time this year. This is beautiful. So there's garlic on this table. Okay, so yeah, there's garlic on this table, there's honey on this table, and I swear those kind of look like pansy leaves. Oh no. Those are the upper parts of like onion bits. Okay. Um but what's interesting about this, what I just got was um it's possible to be strong and sweet at the same time. Anyways, yeah, this is a really awesome deck. I am a fan of all the images. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle them on camera for you so you can see how they go. And then, of course, I'll draw one card, as like I do with every unboxing video. And we'll read the definition, full definition that's in the book, so you have a good idea, what it sounds like in there. And that will be that. Wow, this is like a super long unboxing video because couldn't shut my trap. Okay. So rushing through these last couple. I just wanted to linger because they're so beautiful. Like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So beautiful. So let's go ahead. So I actually have chosen not to do reversals with this deck, but the way it's formulated, you can. They even actually address that in the book. So the cardstock it's very flexible. And the coating on it is, I would say, water resistant. Feels water resistant. But yeah, here's, my hand. This is kind of how I shuffle, so about that. But they shuffle really well. It feels a little larger, but I think that they'll eventually, when they do decide to wear out, they'll wear out nicely. I think it'll take some time, though. Like, the cardstock is really, really good. Oh, 7 of Fire. Cinnamon. So this is the 7 of Wands in traditional tarot. Okay. Oh, wow. It's got the combination with the lime. I get it. It's like if you mix the right things together, it's very sweet and healing. Okay. Let's read this out of the book. 7 of Fire. So it says 7 stand for ancient trees, initiation, and deeper journey. So I'm reading this and then sorry guys. I'm reading this and then I'm going to read this, okay? Or this and then I'm actually going to read the 7 of Fire. Goodness gracious to you. The 7s feature visionary trees. They contribute to the ecosystem, acting as grandmothers and nurse plants for other organisms. They require great care and attention to be sustainably grown and harvested. As storied tree medicines used by humans since antiquity, they are gateways to gateways to mastery. They are planted in the garden to live far beyond our lifetimes. We grow them for our descendants. Legacy, okay? In the final mini drama, 7, 8, 9. The Herbcrafter begins a deep study and looks towards the future. The sevens initiate her into specific fields of herbcraft. That's interesting. With the introduction of these plants, she becomes curious about the ancient mysteries of the botanical world. She looks towards the ancestors as she seeks a visionary experience. They point her towards a journey of introspection that leads to a higher calling. She is rooted in the soul, reaching for the stars. Okay, so one thing I do have to call out is just the language on um, on gender. So I would say this is definitely more directed towards feminine energies, which not a big deal. Not a big deal at all, but not for most people anyway. But that's just something you should be aware of. If that's something that's going to bother you, then this might not be the deck for you. So 7 of Fire, which stands for cinnamon, it gives the scientific name of cinnamon as well, which is Cinnamonium vernum. It stands for, so now I'm reading this. There we go. That right there. So it says, answer the call of the ancients, seek vision from ancestors, take a stand for your whole authentic self. Authentic, really. Authentic self. An image of the goddess Ixchel and a sunstone are gathered on a table. A rosary is draped across a dusty book of Corandismo, healing arts, near a roaring fire. Cinnamon has been crushed for tea de canela, cinnamon tea, and now boils on the wood stove. A jar of cinnamon sticks remains open and lime is sliced. Ancestral traditions remind us who we are. Té de canela is a remedy of Mexican grandmothers. Your personal power has roots in your own cultural heritage. When you hear a call from the ancients, start with a study of your bloodlines. Learn the history. Take the medicine and eat the food of your people. Amen to that. As cinnamon found its way around the globe on the Silk Road, allow yourself to be taken on a journey by your ancestors. Devotion to divine beings will deepen your connection. Collect imagery and stories. Make altars and offerings. Take pride in where you come from. Stand up for who you are. Claim your sovereign path. Your foremothers will give you direction. Cinnamon is a strong and spicy remedy. Be assertive and bold in the expression of true self. Okay, so then it goes on to talk about crafting with the 7 of Fire. It says to study your bloodlines. Invite your ancestors to a fireside council. Share a warming tea and ask for guidance. And you can also boost your day with firepower. Use extra cinnamon in your breakfast. Okay? So, freaking awesome, right? All right, y'all. So that's been it for this unboxing video. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate a like, a thumbs up, and definitely subscribe. Pretty much every time I get a new deck, I will do an unboxing video after I've worked with it for a little bit, just to get the energy and actually relay that to you. For those of you that are practitioners, this is an amazing freaking deck to work with, let me tell you. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Thanks for joining me, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye, y'all.